All right, let's do something a little bit different. What's great about this trick is you can play along at home. It's actually a good trick you can do on video, and it will work for whoever is watching. So let me show you. What we're going to do is a little bit of math. What could be more fun than a little bit of math? Don't worry, it's easy math, okay? First thing we need is a number. So once you take a card out of here, just say stop somewhere, and they'd say stop. Okay, not that one, we can see it. So we're going to take that card, whatever that number is, we'll use that later on in our math equation. Next thing we want to do, get these cards shuffled up. You can have the spectator do this. So here, shuffle them up if you want to. They can do that. They can cut them. They can drop them on the floor if they had to, as long as they're mixed up. You say, okay, now what I'm going to do, let's see, I need to make a prediction. That's what it is. Right, okay, so I'm going to write down a prediction here. There it is. We'll keep that right out there in front of everyone. All right, and now let's see. Here's what you're going to do. I'm going to ask you to think of any two-digit number. Don't say it out loud. Keep it to yourself. You can do this at home, by the way, on this video. Again, this is a great video trick, and it will work. Just think of any number. If you get a pen and paper and write down a two-digit number, put a circle around it so you can remember that number as your original number, because we're going to do some hoops here, some math. We're going to shuffle up the number that's in your head. All right, so first thing you can do is put a line under that original number. You're going to come up with a new number. Take your original number and let's do some multiplication. Multiply it by 2, double it, okay? So now you have a new number, whatever it may be. Okay, and then we want to do, let's do some addition. So I want you to add a number to that. In fact, let's use this number here, whatever this card was. We pulled out a card and it is a 10. So I want you to add 10 to your number. So you have your original number, doubled it. Now you got another number, you've added 10 to it. All right, so you've done some multiplication, some addition. Let's do some division. Now take that new number and just divide by 2. That's pretty simple division. Cut it in half. You got it? And then, so we've done them all except for subtraction. So now I want you to, with that final, almost final number, come up with a final number by doing some subtraction. How about you subtract your original number from the new number, and you should come up with a whole new number, final number, okay? Number that only you know, right? So now, for the first time, had no idea what you're thinking. We didn't say anything out loud. You should be thinking of a number. What is that number? A 5, you say. A 5. Well, you know, I wrote down a prediction here. Wouldn't it be amazing if I wrote down 5? I didn't. I wrote down a 2 of clubs. That's my prediction. You came up with 5, not me. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now that would be amazing if that was the 2 of clubs. Kind of fun. All right. So let me show you what that is. Some of you may have recognized that little math trick. It's actually a way to force a number. So I'm using something, I always call it the T.O.A.N method, T.O.A.N. That's short for think of any number. And that's just a really easy, it's actually a great kids trick. And I used to teach 7th grade math, and I taught my 7th graders how to do that trick because it teaches you about variables. And that's about the time you need to be learning those things. And so if you're not familiar with it, I'll tell you very quickly how it works. They can think of any number. It doesn't even have to be a 2-digit number. It can work with 1 million, but I keep it at 2 digits just to keep it simple, make the math easy. But they can think of any number. It doesn't matter what it is. You always tell them to double it. And then when you tell them to add a number, you're actually forcing them to end up with half of whatever that number is. So I said add 10, because that's the card that we pulled out. And so by telling you to add 10, you're ultimately going to end up with 5. So you say, here's your original number, double it, add 10. Then I have you divide by 2, and then subtract your original number. You'll end up with 5 because we added 10. It's really simple because they're just taking a number, and you're basically eliminating their number and taking half of the one you forced them on. So I forced the 10 because I wanted you to pick 5. And I had a card at position number 5. It's that simple. So let me show you the steps here. And then I'm going to show you some other stuff you can do with this. So this is just really kind of a crazy trick. First thing I did was I forced the 10 because I want you to end up with 5. You don't have to do it that way. You can force another number and end up with 6 or 8 or whatever you wanted to do. I wanted to use 5. So anyway, I had a 10 on top. I did this sort of a false shuffle. Say stop me somewhere. Not that one. I can see that one. And I did a slip cut 4, something like this. And I forced the 10, but we didn't look at it yet. Pretended like we don't know what that number is. We're going to use it later. And then the reason why I just shuffled up the deck is I just got a peek at whatever the card was going to be. I looked at the top card. Right now it's the Ace of Spades. And I can do this. And then I just kind of, I already know it was the Ace of Spades is the card I'm going to predict. And then I went like this. While I was talking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went, oh, wait a minute. What I need to do is make a prediction. And I just put my Ace of Spades in the 5th position, right? Another way to do it, let's do that again. So I'm here, and look at the Ace of Spades on top, and I've got the cards, and I need to make my prediction. Before I move those 4, if you're using a marked deck, you don't even have to look at the cards. Just look at the top card, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. However you want to know that top card. So I say that because a lot of on my videos, someone almost invariably makes a comment, said, why don't you just use a marked deck? Wouldn't that be easier? And I say, yes, marked deck makes everything easier, but you don't always have one. You can do this with a regular deck too. So that's why I'm telling you both ways. But if you have a marked deck, it's even easier. Either way, the point is I know the top card. That's going to be my prediction. And I pretend like I'm going to start shuffling. I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4 and say, oh, I know what I was going to do. I need to make a prediction. So I just interrupted my shuffling. But I'm really putting 4 cards on top of mine. I'm going to go Ace of Spades, make my prediction. And then we go through all the math, right? Think of a number. Doesn't matter, whatever it is. They think of a number. They double it. And then let's say we need you to add a number to. Oh, let's use this number that we pulled out of the deck. Oh, there's 110. Let's use that one. So it looks like it's random, actually forced. And now I want you to, so you've added 10, I want you, let's see, do some division, divide by 2, subtract your original number, they'll end up with 5. If we added 6, they would end up with a 3. Whatever you want to do. I like 10 and 5. So I'm kind of rushing through that because I think it's pretty simple and you probably may be familiar with that trick. Another thing you can do though, this is kind of a fun way to do it, is let's say we do it this way. I say I have a prediction. I have a card in this envelope, okay? And I'm going to predict the number that you're thinking of. We won't even use this deck. We're just going to use this one card. We're just going to do some mentalism here, okay? I want you to think of any number, any 2-digit number. You got it? Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and double that number. And you can do this, by the way, at home just to see how this works. Double that number. Okay, now I want you to add a number. How about you add the number 7? Add the number 7. That's kind of a lucky number. And then what I want you to do is go ahead and divide by 2. And then if you remember your original number, subtract your original number. You should end up with a number. Hopefully the card that I chose out of the deck will be the same value. Okay? And what number did you end up with? And they'll say 3.5. You go, oh, 3.5. No, that can't be right. 3.5, you ended up with 3.5. Oh boy. Well, see, I predicted a card though. So I guess in order for this to work, I would have had to use the 3.5 of clubs. All right. I know it's just a novelty, kind of a fun way to use the think of a number trick. These are cheap. You can get these for like $1 on probably my website, trapdoormagicshop.com. You can get them there. Just a fun way to use that little goodie. The other thing you could do is instead of telling them to add 7, have them pick a 7, force a 7 on them and say that's the number I want you to add, kind of like we did with the 10, and you end up with a really cute little math trick. Like I said, it's great for kids. It's a good one to teach kids because it's good math, it's good science, it's good magic, and it's good fun. I hope you enjoyed it.